Good morning again. It's Tuesday. You are with me, Toni Tesler, and today is part 2 of my April class, which is a file folder folio. It really is a tongue twister. So let me just pop my video up real quick so I can see any comments, and then fold all this up so I can prop it up, and then we are ready. Okay, so when you get here, say hi. If you're watching later on YouTube or even here on Facebook, just say, replay. Let me know that you're here, that you're watching. I appreciate it. So let's recap. The class that we're doing today is, like I said, file, folder, folio. The packet itself is $35. That includes the postage. I do have a short turnaround time on this because these items, the antique corners and slides and the World of Good papers, are on the retired list. So I don't know how much longer they're going to last, and I just don't want to risk it. I have 2 sets extra, but I just want to close this out by Friday for sure. So what you get in the class packet is a full pack of the paper. Hey, Gail, you get a full pack of the paper, 12 by 12. That's because it's on sale. You get a pack of the antique corners and slides, a yard of the early espresso faux suede ribbon, 6 heavyweight file folders. Let me just bring those back in. So 6 heavyweight file folders. We've got some in craft and some in the cream, and you'll get 3 tabs of each. Then you get coordinating cardstock, which coordinates with the papers. So I already cut into mine, but you'll get a piece of basic black, bumblebee, cinnamon cider, crumb cake, early espresso, misty moonlight, mossy meadow, and white. All right, so you get all that for the $35, and that includes shipping. If you already have your stuff and you're working, with your own materials, that's awesome. Then you just watch these videos. So that's that. Now let's just recap. Yesterday we spent the time making our folio, like the base of it. So we started out with our file folder, and actually let me turn it this way. I know this is sideways, but then you can see the whole thing. So this is our file folder. We cut and scored. We have our sides that come up. So we've got a 1/4 inch side on all of them. We've got our flaps. It's going to fold up like this and here. We also made a pocket on the back that we're going to slide something in later. All right, so we can have something that pulls out. That's pretty cool. I inked all the edges. I really like the way this turned out. So if you didn't watch it, I just took my ink pad and directly smashed it all around my file folder. This was the crafty looking color folder. So if it was the ivory one, it would have probably looked a little lighter, but this is complete coverage. It helps that my ink pad was so juicy, but this looks like the folder was brown to begin with. So you can see a little variation there. That's when I missed a spot and had to go back. But that really turned out well. So that's where we left off yesterday. We've got our base, and then we just covered the 6 panels with the DSP. So today we're going to start with these flaps. So first you want to think of which papers do you want to use, and that kind of goes with what do we already see. We see cinnamon cider and misty moonlight. Then when I open it, more misty moonlight. This is a lot of blue. So for me, when I open this up, I don't want to see more blue on these flaps. So I went through the scraps that I had left over from yesterday. Man, my cord's in the way. So I went through the scraps from yesterday, and I was going to go with this one because I thought that would be good when you saw that. But this doesn't look that great with this pattern in the middle. And so I ended up with this one. I think this looks better. And then I'll use this one on the insides. So that is kind of a good color scheme that I want. So how do we cover these flaps? Well, I start by, let me just measure it. Remember I angled these in like a 1/4 inch. So this is 4.5, should be by 2 1/4. Yep. 4.5 by 2 1/4. Let me write this over here. Oops, flap. Oh no, is my pen running out? Okay. Flap. 2 1/4 by, what did I say? 4.5? Yep, 4.5. All right, so I know I want to cut down 1/8 of an inch because that's what I was using for all my other pieces was an 1/8 inch border. So I'm going to start by cutting 2 pieces down 1/8 inch from that. All right, and this does, I do want the pattern going up this way, so this will be our 4.5 piece. 4.5 and then minus 1/8, so 4 3/8, and then 2.5 minus 1/8, so that's 2 3/8, 2 3/8. And actually I'm going to cut the other one while I have it here too. So this piece, this is going to go on the, I want this on the inside flap. But the measurements are the same, so might as well cut them all at the same time. So again, let's go, it's 4.5, and I'm going to go down to 4 3/8. And then 2.5 minus 1/8 is 2 3/8. 2 3/8 and 2 3/8. All right, oops, sliding everything around. I'm going to get rid of these little bits. And I'm going to add my note. So this is the actual panel. Oops, and then we'll cut DSP 2 3/8 by 4 and 2 1/4. Whoopsie. Gail, you were supposed to be paying attention to me and making sure I didn't mess that up. So 2 1/4 minus 1/8 is 2 1/8. All right, so 2 1/8 for all of these. 2 1/8, 2 1/8. All right. And then 4.5. Yep, the rest is good. Okay. Phew. Crisis averted. All right, 2 1/8 by 4 3/8. All right, so we've got our pieces, and let's bring in, I'm going to do the outside one first. So this direction. So when I hold this up, let me do it this way so you can maybe see. So you can tell we can get our 3/8 inch, our 1/8 inch border, and it's coming in from the side. So what I really do is I just slide this over until this corner meets the edge, and I'm just going to hold it in place and cut it. Oops, I didn't mean to bang the camera. All right, now you could get a pencil out and do all that, but then I just slide it over to the next one. So I'm sliding this corner until it hits the edge of my early espresso there. And that's just so I get the same angle, okay? So see here, that looks like a huge border. It's really not. It's gonna be fine. Oops, I'm just gotta flip this around so I can cut it. Okay. Now, let me flip this back over, slide it so this fits into place perfectly. All right, I did cut a little bit wonky. But now I can use this one as a template. All right. And hey, Marty. Yeah, the one yesterday was, I mean, I think it was pretty cool. But yeah, take a look at that. All right, so now I'm just using the one I cut. And like I said, I just held it up and I'm cutting it by hand. You could get a ruler out and do all that, but I've never been too much of a fan. I just want it to be quick. All right, now these, oh, did I cut it the wrong way? Doesn't really matter. These sides, I want to make sure I don't have the worlds going upside down. These are going to be on the inside. All right, so I'll use this one. And I'm just holding it up and snip and snip. And then I'll hold up this one. So like you're making your own template and then cutting the rest of them. And this really does not have to be 100% perfect. That's why I didn't bother, like, oops, getting a ruler out and all that. All right, so now we're just going to glue these on, and I want to do the outside ones first. So I'm actually going to flip this over, and I'm just going to use regular liquid glue. All right, because that really is pretty strong. I remember yesterday, well, if you were here, I was commenting how damp and moist this whole file folder felt, and it was definitely because of all the ink that I put on it. I mean, it's just soaked up so much ink, and I knew it just had to dry overnight, which was the case. It feels a lot more sturdy today now that it's dried. All right, so get this one on. Yeah, Marty, yesterday we just went over like the cutting and scoring to make the base of this whole thing. This is made out of a file folder. And I'm sure, you know, we all have some laying around, so it's easy enough to try. Okay, that's on, and then we'll put our inside ones on. I really like all the foil bits in these papers. Getting this on. Now after I get these attached, I'm going to go over some pockets, because I want some side pockets here and here, and then a pocket across here, and then one, actually I'm going to do kind of like a band over here that we can slide in, sort of like a landscape style belly band. And hopefully I will get a little bit. Yes, Marty, I think so. Part 1, and let it sit overnight, because I tried to dry it with my little heat drying tool, my little mini heat dryer thing, and it got it dry enough for me to work with as far as gluing these papers on. But yeah, I would definitely let it sit overnight if you could. That would be better. And that's only if you're going to ink this up. So mine got so much ink. Oh, got to get this glue off, because let me show you the file folder again. This was the color file folder that I started with. So if you're not going to want to cut or color your file folder, you wouldn't need to bother, you know, letting it sit. But yeah, I took my ink pad and directly like smashed it all over this file folder to get it that early espresso color. You could also paint this. So if you have craft paints, acrylic paints, whatever, just paint the whole thing after you do your cutting and scoring. Paint it both sides and then let it sit to dry. That would work too. Okay. So we've got got all our flaps and they look nice. They look like they're perfect fits. And this is the way our file folio folds up. So now let's talk about pockets. In my original one, let me bring this back in. So I put the pocket up here. I raised it a little bit. So that's one pocket. Then we've got our side pockets. Some of these are looser than others, like this wants to fall apart, and some are tighter. So there's two ways to do pockets, and I'm going to do the same style, like side pocket, bottom pocket, side pocket. So we'll start with those. All right, and let me bring in this is the scratch paper. So this is from, when I was doing all the inking. It's a wreck. All right, pockets. There's two ways to do them. So one pocket, you just measure the size that you want and you put tape or glue on the three sides as close as you can. This makes a nice tight pocket, and that's what I did on the back of this. So I just put tape around the three sides so we can slide it in from the side. This is what I should have used for the side pockets. Whoops. For this pocket, I did on this one, I believe, and this one. I should have used that easy three side pocket. The other pocket, same style, you measure your paper and then you add a 1/4 inch on three sides. All right, and then we score it, and then we're gonna cut off these corners, and then we're gonna put our tape here on these flaps and then fold the flaps in and attach the pocket. For some reason, making these edges and folding them under, that makes the pocket roomier. It's just because there's a little bit more room for paper. Like it's another layer of paper, because when you get to this, when we're gluing it on, it's like 2 layers thick with this little wraparound bit. That may not make sense. So you may just have to trust me. This one is roomier, so we're going to do this style on this part right here only. And then on these sides, the side ones, I'm going to do this style where I'm just going to do the three corners. All right, so let me measure. I want this paper to come right up to the designer series paper as close as I can. So 3 3/4, and I want to go in maybe 3 3/4. That would be like halfsies. So I'm going to say 2.5 by 3 3/4. And actually, let me measure this one too. Should be the same. Nope, this one will be different. That's right, because this flap's different. All right, so let me, I need some room to write here. So top one, I said 2.5 by 3 3/4. Very top pocket. And then bottom inside pocket. So this will be our inside. This is the bottom outside. I have to write these down because when I do my directions later, I want to make sure I tell you the same thing. So this is like 4 1/16. So I'm just going to go 4 by 2.5. So we'll say 2.5 by 4. All right, so that's all I need for now. Now, what color? So I think I'm going to stick with Misty Moonlight for this one and black for this one. All right, so we're going to go to our cardstock that you're going to get, a piece of all these colors. So I want Misty Moonlight and the black. And put these away. Now, I don't know how much dolling up I'm going to do of these pockets. I may just put another layer of designer series paper on top of them. We'll see. Because I just want you to get the idea of the basics, like how to make it. All right, so Misty Moonlight, 2.5 by 3 3/4. So I'm going to cut the 2.5 off first. And then go 3 3/4. And then our black one, 2.5 by 4. So again, I'm going to cut 2.5. Hey, Amy, 2.5 by 4. Hey, Marvick. Okay. All right, so that's our pockets. So if we wanted to stamp or do anything fancy, we could do that. I think for now, I'm just going to tape them on here because I want to get through, A, my battery's running low, but B, I want to get through as much as I can. Okay, so I'm going to go use the red sticky strip, and we're going with, oops, this style of pocket. So I'm only going to put tape around 3 sides, and it's going to be tight. And my pocket's going this way, so I'm going to put tape here, here, and here. And I don't know why I flipped that over, because the cardstock is the same on both sides. Duh. Alright. Oh, and while I'm doing this, the clearance rack did update today. Yeah, I got an email from another demonstrator yesterday afternoon, and it said that the clearance rack was updating. So, of course, I logged into the website, because I'm like, I didn't see that this morning. How are only certain people getting information? I hope not. So, yeah, the information was not available. So I had to get on the horn with demo support. And she said, yeah, that was released in error. And I was like, okay, but is it true? Like, she didn't want to tell me, yeah, it's true. And I said, look, I just want to know so I can, tell everybody. And she said, yes, the sale is starting at midnight. I'm like, okay, that's all you had to say. Thanks. So somebody let the cat out of the bag. But I really wish they would tell everybody as soon as they know. I mean, if I placed an order and then the next day the stuff I got went on sale or, the clearance rack, I would be mad. But luckily, the stuff they put in the clearance stuff is not like current merchandise. It's things from the holiday catalog. So still some good things there, like some good papers and like holiday papers, the poinsettia papers. I'm surprised those are still around. But I know what it is they're just trying to get rid of their inventory because they have to make room for the new stuff, which is another announcement I read today. So because of these, all the shipping issues that they're having, and it's global wide, it's not just Stampin' Up. All companies are having shipping issues. But the stuff, our new mini catalog was supposed to start July. It was going to be July through December. Well, stuff isn't going to get here in time, so they're backing it up a month. So it's going to be August through December, which is the same as what we had last year. So let me, hold on. So the tape on this one, tape. I want the opening over here so I can slide stuff in. So I'm just going to line this up. And actually, I'm going to back it so there's just a tiny bit of the gold peeking around all the corners. All right, and then let me just show you. So this, now we have something that we can fit in there. All right. So back to the catalogs. So the holiday one is going to be back to being the August through December. So we'll only have that for 5 months, which is fine. But then the celebration. So we're going to have, this is the year we were starting 2 celebrations, and the other one was going to be July through August. Well, now that they have to back it up a month. So it's going to be August through September will be the next celebration. And I don't know if they've already printed the catalogs. I think those are being finished. So hopefully the dates, whenever we do get those catalogs, will be right. But I'm glad they're making these changes instead of just going with it and then the products aren't here. So they said the products had already shipped, like they're already on a ship on the water. So they had to make a decision of, do they hold back the release or do they just go with it and then everything's on back order? And they didn't want to do that. So again, tape here, here, here. The opening I want on this side. And I'm just going to butt this up. And I can see just a little teeny bit poking out, and that's fine. And so this is a nice tight pocket. Now, if you're wondering what these little bits were, these were the leftovers that we cut off from making our file folio. So think of this. I said save these because we can use them for later. And they make great tags. We'll cut them down. All right, I need a sip of coffee. Too much talking. And check my phone because that was running low. If I get the low juice message, I'm gonna have to unplug my microphone. Okay, so pocket for this one. I want this one to be the thicker pocket because really this is like the main pocket. So I want to be able to, jam as much as I can in there. Yeah, Gail, that would be solved if we had more industry here. That would be nice, wouldn't it? I mean, we have to keep sending them the suggestion box idea. Okay, so let's measure this. So this is 6 and, I'm gonna go this way. 6 3/8. Middle, inside middle. Six and 3/8, and I want it to go up. Let's stick with 2.5. No, let's go 2. So 2 by 6 3/8. All right, and that's going to go completely across the side. Now, what color do I want here? So we've got cinnamon cider, blue. I haven't used a lot of green, but I don't think that's going to look great. And actually, blue is like not my favorite color, just in general. I like this Misty Moonlight because it looks like denim kind of. But this is already more blue than I would care for. I'm thinking either black or cinnamon cider. Even the bumblebee is like, that's just a little too bright. Cinnamon cider it is. I've convinced myself. Okay. I could do early espresso. But cinnamon cider. All right, so 2 by 6 3/8. Oh, duh. This is when I have to add an extra. All right. So I'm doing this size, this style of of pocket. So 2 3/8. 3/8. And then, 2 by 6 3/8. So the width part, I want to add a 1/4 inch on each side. So that's a 1/2 inch, right? So 6 3/8 plus half, so plus 4/8. So we'll get 6 7/8. Math. And then on the bottom one, this is our 2 inch. We only want to add a 1/4. So plus a 1/4. So we've got 2 1/4. All right. So 2 1/4 by 6 7/8. Bink, bink, bink. 2 1/4 by 6 7/8. Okay. 2 1/4 by 6 7/8. 2 1/4. So I'm going to cut this side off first. 2 1/4. 6 7/8. All right, now I need to get my scoring board, and we're going to score a 1/4 inch around 3 sides. All right, so I have to hold this. First, let me make sure that this is in the camera with the measurements. Yep, okay. So a 1/4 inch. And then we'll turn it, and a 1/4 inch. And a 1/4 inch happens to be how wide my sticky strip is. So that's going to go right up to the edge. I may have to trim some of that tape off, is what I'm saying. All right, let me hit this one more time. A 1/4 inch. All right, so this is our pocket. So we're going to put a tape on the top right here, and then this is going to get folded under. All right, so let's first, actually, let me just put the tape on. And I'm going to go as close to the bottom edge as I can. There we go, because that can get cut off. And again, very as close to the bottom edge as I can. And then as close to the bottom. All right, so here we are. Now I've got to cut these corners off. I got to flip it over. I caught some of that sticky strip. And this is just eyeballing with the corners. You know how you miter these corners, like when you're doing sewing or anything. All right, so bone folder. We want to flip these over and really press them down. And then this one. So this is what I meant earlier when this is like 2 layers thick. So this little flap and then this piece, that's 2 layers thick when you put it all together. So it's just there's more room adding that extra layer, which is our flaps here. All right, now bring this in. This is the tricky part, is since this is so sticky, I like to put this bottom layer on first. All right, so this is how it's all gonna be. We tuck it in and it's gonna go like this. All right, I can't hold all that in together at one time. So I do the bottom layer first. And get that off of there. All right, and now I am still going to try to hold all 3 bits down, and I'm just going to line up these corners down here with these corners. Oh, see, it's already wanting to stick. All right, so I'm pressing down that bottom edge. Let me just run my bone folder over it. Now these side ones, I can't do like unpeel one side and do that and then the other, because you won't be able to get to the other one. So this, you have to do these kind of same time. So we'll peel this up and this. And then try to squeeze this at the top, and then we'll just flip it over. Okay. Now, can you see looking down? Hopefully, let me wait for a minute and see if this catches up in the camera so I can see. But you should be able to see that this pocket, like this, is popping up a little bit. Yep. So you can really get a bunch of stuff in there. So see, like a bunch of things will fit in there. So this is when you could add pictures, things that you've saved for something, you know, pamphlets, play lists, whatever. All sorts of bits and pieces, paper, pictures, whatnot. You can clip some stuff in. All sorts of neat business. Okay. But this is also why this was a bad idea to use this style pocket on the sides, because these will just, it'll fall out. You need the tighter ones up here and here. All right, so that's that pocket. And then we've got our pocket over here, which let me just show you. Okay. Actually, let me make a little something to go in there because I want to show you how to use some of the ribbon. All right. Now I don't think I'm going to be able to get a double layer of something in here. So I think it's just going to have to be a single piece of cardstock, and then I'm going to staple some ribbon to make a handle. The idea being that you could add, I don't know, a piece of paper or something or a picture, and you should still be able to slide it in there. But I put the tape a 1/4 inch on each side. I don't want to go that far. I don't want to go completely to the edge. So I think I'm going to make this insert 3 3/4 by 5.5. Okay, 3 3/4 by 5.5. And what color am I going to use? Oh, this might be a good time to use some of the bumblebee, because the edge might peek out. Okay, 3 3/4, 5.5. 3 3/4, 5.5. I should write that down. 5.5, 3 3/4. Okay. So do you see what I mean? Like, you can add a picture to this later, or you could even just write something. This could be your journaling bit. Notes. So back, slide in, or I don't know what you call that. Slide in 3 3/4 by 5.5. Okay. So the idea is this is just going to slide right in here. And I can tell already it's a little tight. So, let me cut an extra. Let me make that 3.5. And let me check my, oh, whoopsie. All right, so I have to unclip my microphone. I've got the low power mode. I can click, so I can plug in my battery, my cord. I have to see if there's something that I can plug into my iPhone that will, plug into the phone and then make it like 2 plugs. So I could have 2 things plugged into it at the same time. I don't know if they make something like that. It's the same as Tim Holtz. Oh yeah. Yeah, Marty. Yeah, Tim Holtz. I thought you got one of these, or am I thinking of someone else that ordered the same one? Because I said Tim Holtz had the same thing. And I think it was like the same price from back then when we used to carry it. So still a good deal. All right, so we've got 3.5 by 5.5. All right, this is sliding in a whole lot better. I think if it's open, it will slide better. Yeah. All right, so what I want to do is just take remember you're going to get a yard of this faux suede ribbon. All right, I like to just staple this on here. My thing is, do I want to staple it this way so you can pull it that way? I think so, because I like that. It doesn't always have to be like just a loop on the outside. So I'm going to put this right here, and I'm actually going to give it 2 staples just for good measure. Okay. And you could round these corners if you wanted. That's, personal preference. All right, and then we will slide this in. It's gonna go, okay. And if I need to trim that down more, I might have to. I might have to cut the bottom off a little tiny bit, because I do want the whole thing to go in there. All right, so 5.5, so we'll go 5 1/4. Let's see how that goes. See, I didn't have this part worked out because I haven't done this back side pocket before. Trying something new. All right, it's tight, but it's gonna go in here. And it'll be sturdier once I put something on it too. All right, come on, get in there. Oh, there we go. I just didn't have it in the right spot. All right, so that's gonna hang out like that. This is the back of our book. And I don't mind that that hangs out at all. Actually, I do like that because I like seeing that ribbon. Okay. Yeah, Tonic makes that cutter. I thought it was Tim Holtz makes, or it's Tonic makes it, but it's got Tim's name on it, right? Yeah, good, Marvick. I did think you were the one that ordered it. Okay, now, 20 minutes. So this is where you could add more designer series paper onto these flaps. You could add stamping. You could add little bits like I've added here. So tags, you know, I added little cutouts that I stamped on. This, I just punched out some leaves. This, I put designer series paper and a leaf on it. And then I made a tag that pulled out that kind of matched it. I did all this stamping. And again, that's where I stapled a little bit of ribbon. So that part, that is, you can tart this up however you want. Oh, this other little thing that I wanted to make here. Okay. So I think I'm gonna leave, I'm not gonna do too much dolling up. I do wanna do something on the cover. And then, oh great, Amy. Yeah, this is a really cool project with the file folders. Okay. What do I want to put? So I want a little something here. And like I said, I'm over the blue, and it is gonna have to be raised up a little bit because I don't want it peeking out from under here. So I'm gonna put something right here. I really wish I had I was thinking a piece of foil, but that would be kind of wasteful. I mean, the blue might have to be what I use. Otherwise, early espresso. I think the espresso. Okay. It's decided. All right, so I want it to be, to go across the whole thing. So it looks like 6 3/8. So I'm going to call this the outer bottom flap. Because when I do the tutorial, I want to make sure I'm calling it the same thing as in here. So we all are on the same page. All right, and then 2, I really only want that to be maybe, let's say 1 3/4. So 1 3/4, because since it's going to be raised, you know what? Let's just see, what did I make this one? 2 inches. All right, fine. So we'll go 2 inches by 6 3/8. Okay, 2 by 6 3/8. And we're doing this in the early espresso. So 2 by 6 3/8. 2. Oh, so the 3/8. This is where. Okay, I can see it. Things get kind of crazy when you're going, you know, I can see 6 3/8, and this mark I drew for the 6-inch mark, but anything in between there, I just have to eyeball. All right, 2 by 6 3/8. Now, realistically, I save all these little bits too when I'm making this because I don't know, I may want to punch something out of that or just emboss it and stick it on something. Okay, so this is going to go about here. So like I said, I don't want this pocket peeking out past my top flap. So that'll be good. And again, I'm going to do the tight pocket, so I'm not adding those extra flaps. So sticky strip right up to the edge. Now, if you wanted to emboss something like I did on my prototype, you would do this before you put the tape on. But now, whatever I decide to doll up, I'm just going to have to make something and cut it out and stick it on top. because I'm doing all this taping now. Like, I can't emboss something on this after I've already attached it. But in the interest of time, I just want to give you the basics of how to put this together, and then all the decorating, that's going to be up to you. Man. All right. I couldn't talk for a minute trying to get that tape off. All right. Sometimes this sticky strip is really easy to grab, and other times it's not. Okay, there we go. All right, so our flap comes down to here, so I want this right about here. And it does help. Okay, I didn't get it. Yeah, I got it good. It did help using the early espresso for this pocket because, oh, look at that. Oh, for the crying out loud. Crooked. Oof. All right, I'm gonna have to be more careful pulling this up. So that started to rip. All right, catastrophe number 1. All right, so let me pay better attention. And now, did I cut that wrong? Let me go from the side. Okay. All right, not a crisis because since this is early espresso and this is early espresso, if it's peeking out any, it's just gonna kind of blend in, but it is spot on. It is right at the edge. Oof, okay. All right, so now I would use the ribbon for any tags that you want to add in here. Like I said, you can use the leftover bits from the file folder that we cut out. I would trim these down or punch things out, but you can poke holes and add ribbon. So that's how you can use some of your ribbon. You can just staple bits places. But yeah, I'm going to go back in later and add some little things on the sides. And I'm undecided whether I'm going to add more designer series paper to the front of these, or if I might cut down a layer, like whatever this was, trim it down 1/8, and then run it through an embossing folder and add that. Hey, Nikki, you're here live and I see you. Nice. I missed you too. But I may add a layer that I emboss just to give this some more texture. Like, I really am thinking that's what I'm going to do for this one. But in the interest of time, I'm going to have to do all my dolling up and finishing later. What I did want to show you, though, is since you're going to get a pack of these antique corners and ribbon slides. So the ribbon slides, this is how they work. You take some ribbon. It's like a buckle. So you feed it up through that one, and it goes over, and then like that. So, you know, that looks like a regular buckle. You can double this up, and you can have 2 layers going through here. Oh no, you know what? I want this. I want to poke it up that way first. All right, so there's our 2. And then we should be able to fish all this through. I gotta trim this. Fish both of these through over the bar. See that little bar? And I suppose there is a top and bottom. This is the bottom. Or you can use whatever side you want, I guess. So it looks like there's just 2 designs. Okay. So fish these through. And then, so that gives you, it's covering this side. And then you could have it hanging off like that. So you can use these a lot of different ways. I'm going to set that off. But what I want to do now is get these corner things and glue them on. You can really use glue dots for these, but I like using the liquid glue just because I really think it's a better hold. And this does take a few minutes to dry. I definitely want to do that. So let me flip this so it's flat. I'm going to open it all up. So here's how our thing opens. Boop, boop. We've got all these pockets. And this is the top. So let me make this flat. And I want to glue these. So I never know, like, am I supposed to glue it right to the very edge? I think that's the case. Let me see. Can you guys even see this? I know it's crooked. I would like to put it at the edge of the designer series paper. But I think the point is to protect this from dings and stuff. So I really think you're supposed to do it at the very corner. So, yeah, Nikki, you got to catch it. Because this is like something right up your alley. All right, so I'm just going to put a little glue, liquid glue, right here. And plop this down. And I'm not going to be worried about if there's any glue, like, squeezing out. Because it's going to dry clear. I'm not going to worry about it. All right, and then I'll put this one on. And I'm going to let those sit for a minute. And I'm going to put some up here too. So I'm using all four corners. I suppose you could just use the two down here and then that would make your corner bits go a little further because I think there's only 10 in this pack. Ooh, that's like that's a lot extra glue. All right. Ooh. That almost landed very badly. All right, so I can see a little bit of glue there. That is going to bother me. Let's try to get that off of there. All right, and then clean that off. P.S. You made it on time. You did. Well, at least you caught me live. I mean, I've got like 5 minutes left. I try to keep these like an hour or less. Okay, oops. So these are going to have to sit here to dry, and I should not have messed with that because now it's wanting to come up. Okay. So I'm not going to have time to really decorate this because I really don't want to mess with this too much while these are drying. But I will tell you my idea, and I will have finished pictures probably later this weekend. This week is still crazy. We're trying to finish up stuff, which, by the way, Gail, send me your tutorial so I can do final proof of that. Ooh, is that glue on my scissors? So I probably won't get to this till this weekend, but my idea was I used the World of Good papers. Not necessarily, it doesn't necessarily have to be a travel theme book. But my plan is to make this like family. Ooh, that's what I can do. So I'm going to stamp and cut this out. You make the world a better place. And I die cut some of the worlds. So this is like my plan. Have this, and then I'm probably going to use these tasteful labels. I'm going to cut something probably in cinnamon cider and have that there with these worlds. And I'm going to stamp that, you make the world a better place. I'm going to stamp that right in the middle there. Probably cinnamon cider cardstock with early espresso ink. Oh, Gail, you did? I haven't gotten anything, I think, for that final one. When did you send it? I'll check again. All right, so words here, cinnamon cider, the worlds, and then I'm going to add some more of the ribbon. And what else did I want to show you? Oh, and then right down here. So let me scooch this in. So this is the actual tab that was from the file folder. The other day, Gail, I will check, but I don't think I got something. Because I thought you were like, I sent it to you Sunday. I said, send me that. And you said, oh, shoot, I forgot. And I'm getting ready to do my live. So that was, I don't think I got it. All right, but one bit on here. So I wanted to use, Who has this, like an old-timey label thing? This is, you squeeze it and it makes the letters. So I'm going to have here, you make the world a better place. And then I want, I'm going to say like my family. So I'm going to have pictures of my family on here to tie in, like, you know, you mean the world to me. World is a better place, blah, blah, blah. All right, so let me do a couple spaces and then my space and then fam. It's there in the email. Okay. Fam. I love this label maker. I bought it from somebody online. All right. And I've gotten a lot of use out of it for little bitty things. Right, and then we cut that. Okay. Ooh, yeah, cool. And I just want to put this right here. My family. So when you use anything that you have sticky, like, I don't trust this adhesive is going to stay like perfectly good. You can always add liquid glue and it will be like double sticky. All right, so sticky on top of sticky. And then this is going to let us move it around a little bit. Need be. All right, and then get those, the little squirty, that squirted out a little bit. But I'm just going to hold that there. So I have found when I've been taking other classes and watching people, they do this with washi tape a lot, because you know washi tape, that's hit or miss. Like mine, it's either too sticky where it'll rip my paper, or it doesn't stick at all. So you can use extra glue on your washi tape and anything really. All right, so I'm going to have to, I got glue on top of here. I'm gonna have to get that off somehow, but that's gonna be cute. You mean the world to me, and then it'll be my family, and I may put something, I don't know what I'll do here, but just to carefully pick this up, and our flaps and all that. So that's our book, and then I'm gonna have, I'll get you final pictures of what I doll up the front with, but it'll definitely be doing something with this die and then my 2 world dies. So, okay, that is it for today. I'll probably have a separate blog post with the finished pictures, because right now I'm going to post the blog for this video so people can find it too, and then I'll have something separate. So yeah, definitely go back, watch this first one to see how we made the base of this, and make your own. And whatever you make, put a picture in my stamping and sharing group. That's a Facebook group that I wanted everybody to, you know, post their projects so we all get ideas. And it'll be lovely to see what papers you use, what color folder, you know, if you end up coloring yours, like just seeing all the different things. All right, so have a good couple days. I will be back Thursday for my regular live, and I'm actually going to be doing something with some little notepads. I saw another demonstrator friend of mine had done something with like the little steno books, and she made a holder that was reusable, so you could keep putting, you know, a new pad in there. That's like an old favorite project, is the steno pads. So I'm going to do something like that, but mine won't be reusable because, frankly, I have so much paper, I get tired of looking at it on my notepads. Oh yeah, Margaret, yes, those gold stars. Those are, oh, you're right. Perfect, perfect. I just had those out. Where are those? Yes. Where, oh, here we go. These ones. Yes. Perfect. Yep, I want to clean this up a little bit more, but you are actually, that is perfect. Star Designer Elements. Yeah, these are like brass or something. Some kind of thing, but yep. Awesome idea, Margaret. Thank you. Okay, so I will see you guys Thursday. Thanks a lot, and I'll catch you later. Bye. Oops, I gotta slide my phone out. Okay, now that's it.